Good evening, everyone. This is Lorelea Roberts with Offerings of Wonder by Lorelea, and welcome to Monday Night Meetup. I hope everybody had a good Monday last week. I decided to take that Monday off because of the holiday, and I hope everybody was able to enjoy the long weekend, spend time with family and friends, and just overall just enjoy themselves. So tonight we are going to be doing the mini chevron. And whoops, let me go grab my sample. There we go. All right, so let me show up here. This is what we are going to do tonight. It is it's a mini chevron. It is done with 5 pieces. So what we'll need tonight, you'll need 5 pieces of colored reed. You will need a stick or a handle to weave on. I like using the sticks so that you have samples, so that when you do weave your own handles, you can you have something to reference back, and it's flat and it's easy to store. And then you need some cane. So for tonight, I'm using a standard paint stick. It is, let's see how wide it is. It is about 1 inch wide, so about 1 inch wide. See that? So it's just about 1 inch wide. Close. And I have 5 pieces of 3/16 flat oval, and 5 pieces take up just about the space of 1 inch. Size doesn't really matter. I want you to learn the technique, and then depending on how thick your handle is, you can decide what width of reed that you want to use that's going to fill it up. So for this pattern, for the mini, we are doing 5 pieces, and then I also have some cane. I just have a little piece of cane. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that in the water, let it start to soften up. And I have a pair of basket shears so we can cut if we need to cut anything. So let me talk a little bit about what we're going to do. So with any handle that you're wrapping on a basket, you're going to want to have some beginning wraps that are just going to go over everything. And those are going to be right at the level of where your rim is going to be. So when you're thinking about doing this on a rim for a basket, you want to know how high your basket's going to be, where your rim row is going to be, and then you can mark that. And that's where you're going to start with some of these overlaps, because those should get covered up by your rim. You just take this one off. Okay. All right. So again, so you need something that you're going to weave on, a handle or a paint stick. You need 5 pieces of your color. I'm using 3/16 flat oval. You need some cane. That is in my water right now, and I'm using, I believe this is 2.25. So that is what that is. I wanted to show, I put these on so I wouldn't forget to show them to you guys. This is a bracelet that is done with a 7-piece, 7 pieces to create. The chevrons are a little bit bigger. And then this pattern, you do chevrons right up, let's see how I do that, right up to the middle. And then you reverse it to go the other direction with the chevron. So let me take that off so I can show. So we do chevrons up one side, boom, 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 till we get to the middle. And then we reverse it and come back the other direction. so you can see overall that the chevrons are all pointing towards the center, and it's called X marks the spot. You can find that out on my website, Lorelea.com, under kits, and it is called X marks the spot. So if you want to practice this on a smaller thing, it's a great way to practice this. So this one has 7. You can see the chevrons are a little bit bigger. What we're going to do tonight, I'm calling the mini chevron. And so they're just smaller bumps. So as you join, let me know that you're here. You can either put something in chat. You can, let me just make sure here. Let me just put that up there. Okay. You can put stuff in chat, either on the Facebook Live or in the Zoom. I'd love to know that you're here. And if you're watching on replay, let me know that too. Always interested to see what people think. I had sent out an email today, also just telling people about the live tonight and asking for things that you're interested in. So I've got one request back already, and that was to talk about how to do joins with round read. There's a couple different methods. Flo Hoppy does a wonderful job in her books. But we're going to do that next week. So if you like round read and you want to get a refresher on how to join, or if you've never used round read and you have no idea what we've been talking about, go ahead and join, and we will, we're going to cover that next week. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to take my paint stick, and I'm just going to lay, I'm going to start at this end. I'm just going to lay my pieces right on. And I said, I'm using flat oval, so I'm putting the flat against the paint stick, and then the oval is exposed out. Okay, let's start with that. And grab my cane. Now here. All right, whose towels look like mine? This one is quite colorful. Yeah. If you got pictures of your towel, show them to me. I always think it's so much fun to see all the different colors and you know how they look. Like to see that they are well loved. All right. So when we do this wrap, we are going to want the shiny side of the cane. There we go. We're going to want the shiny side of the cane always to be facing out. And as we weave, the back is just as important as the front. So the because on a handle, as it bends over, you can see the underneath of the handle. So we want to make sure that our handles look just as good on the back as they look on the front. We are going to keep the lines nice and straight as we go across the front, and they are on just a slight angle on the back. So that's normal. Just wanted to kind of show that. Okay. We are going to start. I'm going to just put this piece of with the shiny side against the handle. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to put a 90-degree crimp in it. Let me do that and then hold that up for you. There we go. Okay. Everything back together here. All right. So I've got the cane, the shiny side against the handle, and then a 90-degree turn. So now the shiny side is on the outside. And we're going to do a few wraps around. So at least 3, up to 5. You don't really need to do much more than that. Unless you want that for a look, like to start, if you want it to be solid for a while, then you can do that. So we are just going to, I'm going to just take this, wrap around. I'm going to catch the tail on the back. And I'm just going to get 3 good wraps on here. Now, when you're doing this on a handle, you have to take your cane and pull it through every time with the handle. All right, so there we got 4 wraps. Okay, so let me do that. Boom, ba-doom, ba-doom. Pushing my tails up. Turned around here. I'm pushing my tails up so that they are underneath the wrap. I've got 4 rows on the front. 4 rows on the front, all nice and tight together. And now I'm ready to start doing my pattern. Okay. So again, this is a pattern that we're doing. It is a 4-row repeat. What that means is we're going to do 4 different rows, and then we're going to do those 4 rows over and over and over and over again. So once you learn the 4 rows, that's it. You're just going to repeat. So I have a lot of handles that I like to do that are the 4-row repeats. All right. So we're going to start this. I am going to go under 1, and I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to show it to you. There we go. Okay. So we are going to go under the first. Let me get that so that you can see well, nice and close. So under 1, over 3, under 1. So first row, under 1, over 3, under 1. Okay. And then we're going to wrap it around the back. Boom, ba-doom, ba-doom. Okay. Right around the back. This next row, we are going to go under 2, over 1, and under 2. And one of the things that I'm doing as I do this, I didn't get that. So under 2, over 1, under 2 is I am straightening out these colored pieces. So they want to kind of go every which way. So every row you want to straighten them. You want to do the row, and you want to make sure that it's nice and tight to the row below. Okay, so this is row 2. We went under 2, over 1, under 2. And then we're going to wrap around the back. Okay, so again, if we were doing this on a handle, you'd be pulling it through. All right, so row 3, we're going to do the opposite of row 1. So we're going to go over 1, under 3, over 1. There. Okay. So over 1, under 3, over 1. And it's just the opposite of what we did on row 1. And then row 4 is going to be just the opposite of what we did on row 2. And so that is going to be over 2, under 1, over 2. And that is our 4 rows. All right. So again, row 4 is over 2, under 1, over 2. All right. Excellent. That is it. So now we're going to rinse and repeat. So with a 4-row repeat, if you forget what your next step is, you can just count back 4 rows and then repeat what's there. So if we go back 4 rows, our row number 1 was under 1, over 3, under 1. So we're going to do that again. So we're going to go under 1, over 3, and I'm just putting it so it's nice and tight against the row beneath it. under one. And then I want to show you, let's see, there we go. Can you see how they're starting to go wonky again, right? So you just, every time you're going to just straighten them back up. So everybody's nice and straight, and just going to keep them going. So, and remember, let me just see on the back here, on the back nice and tight too. So again, make sure that you're looking at your back and that your back is all nice and tight and looks just as pretty as the front. Okay. All right, so now we're going to repeat row 3. Row 3 was under 2, over 1, under 2. So under 2, put it nice and tight, make sure it's nice and tight. Over 1, under 2. Okay. Straighten everybody up. All right, and then row 4. Row 4 is over 1, under 3, over 1. So once you get into the rhythm for these, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Put that up there. There we go. You can really start to see how the chevrons are getting created. So there's a purple one, there's a natural one, and we're working on the next purple one. All right. And that is really it. Oops, 3, 4, one more. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, last one is, let's see, under 1, over 2, under 1, over 2. Sorry, I lost count of my rows there. There we go. And there's the peak for the purple. So that's it. That's the 4-row repeat. This is the mini chevron. I hope that you're enjoying watching these. And if you have questions, even if you're watching on the replay, please go ahead and post. If you want to try this on a little bit larger scale with the X marks the spot bracelet, I said I do have those kits available on my website. So they're fun. You can see the chevrons go up one side, they meet in the middle, and then we reverse and go in the other direction. We're doing that with 7. They're on an aluminum blank. Your kit, you get the aluminum blank. I've already covered it with masking tape to take all the sharp edges away. And also, if you do have any gaps, the masking tape, you don't see it as much as you would just the aluminum showing through. And it's a fun little bracelets. They come in all different colors. So, you know, I have a few colors on. I wanted to make sure that I showed you guys tonight. And then this is the mini chevron. So I'm curious if you guys have been watching some of these handles. Have you had an opportunity to try them on a basket? And if you have, let me know. I'd love to see pictures. You can private message me, or you can post on one of my posts. And that's it. I was just looking to see if I see any comments coming in. I don't see any questions. So next week, we are going to do the round reed joins. So there's 2 different kinds of joins. There's a combined join and a English join, I believe is the name of the other one. Yeah, an English join. Flo Hoppy does an amazing job in her books. One of the books, show you the cover. Contemporary wicker basketry, amazing. If you like to do round reed, her directions are so good. She has, you know, just great pictures. You can see I have lots of things bookmarked. I come in and look at things all the time to refresh what I'm trying to do. But I had a request to show those 2 joins next week, so we'll do that. I'll get a basket prepped with some round reeds so that we can look at those. But if you have other things that you'd like to see, that's what tonight's all about. So Monday Night Meetup is about, me sharing some information, but also I'd like to see what you guys are working on. What kind of things are you doing? What are you doing for the summer? Here we are, we're already in July, half the year's gone. Already starting to think about fall and Christmas. I had a chance to do, I had the opportunity because I ran out of reed again, to dye some reed again this weekend. And one of the things that I did, I dyed some red and some green. I'm getting a Christmas basket together. And I dumped the red dye when I got done with that. And then I did green, and I was like, oh, I don't want to just dump the dye, right? So I did a few pounds of everything that I needed. And then I was like, I think I'm going to do some variegated. So I, took some all different kinds of reed, round reed, some 1/4 inch, some 1/2 inch, and decided to do some variegated. So I dumped it in the green. And then I was thinking kind of earth tones, so thinking the fall and those types of things. So I added some red to the green, thinking I would get a nice brown, but instead I got a nice purple. Let me just grab some and I'll show you. What you guys can't see off camera is my piles of reed that I brought in from drying outside. But so here's the some of the green, and then this is the there we go. So you can see some of that nice purple. So not brown, but more of a purple color. And I love it. I think it's going to be really pretty. So now I've got to come up with ideas for some nice variegated baskets. So I love using variegated reed. Every basket turns out different because depending on where you start and where the dye is on the reed, they all look a little bit different. So that's kind of exciting. All right. I'll give just another minute to see if we have any questions. All right, I'm not seeing any questions come in. So again, if you watch us on replay, just let me know that you were here. If you do have anything you want to see, go ahead and put it in the comments or private message me, and we'll get them added to the list. I'm getting pretty excited. There's a whole bunch of things I want to show you guys. And I thought starting with the handles would just be kind of fun because they're quick, easy things that you can really add a lot of pizzazz to your baskets with. So with that, I will say good night. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you guys next Monday, 7 o'clock Eastern for Monday Night Meetup. Talk to you later. Bye.